How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today I want to talk about NAT. I want to talk about why I bought them this week. I'm going to talk about what other stocks I bought, what the market's doing, and what I'm doing to counteract that. So this is going to be a very packed little video today. And I want to start with NAT. So I made a video about NAT earlier this week talking about how if they hit a certain price, I would jump in. So I bought more of them this week, and that's something that I am glad that I did, but also I'm cautious going forward because of a couple things I'll talk about in this video. But if you guys don't mind doing a few things first, please hit the like button right down below. It really helps out the channel. And I know that I ask for this almost every time, but it does happen more when I ask for it. So I appreciate you guys doing that. And if you are interested in a new trading app, you can sign up with WeBull and deposit $100. And it might take a day for it to get approved because you have to go through a little approval process. It takes 5 minutes maybe to fill out, and then the next day you can deposit. And then you get 2 stocks worth up to $1,400 each. And then I also get a free stock too, so it really helps out the channel. So let's talk about NAT. So Nordic American Tanker went down about 5% today. And I think there's one main reason for this. Well, actually maybe two. So the general market was down pretty significantly today. And we also got news. So if we go over here, we got news from their weekly tanker report. So every week they put this out there that their Suezmax tankers went down to $10,000 a day for their spot tanker rate. So last week it was about $12,500. So it's dropping significantly. It's down a significant amount from this year's year-to-date amount, which is about $52,000. And it continues to drop week after week. Now, this is interesting because this comes the day after we got news that one of the insiders at NAT is buying more shares. So we got news that Mr. Alexander Hansen today, this is a few days ago actually, bought 50,000 shares of NAT at $4.11. So he is the son of the CEO, so he bought about $200,000 worth of the stock. Now, when an insider buys stock, it's usually a good sign for a couple reasons. One, it's because the actual share or the stock itself they think is of good value. Two, they know a little bit more than we do on what kind of money they're earning. And then three, they're already really exposed to the company because that's where they get a lot of their money from. So it's doubly risky really to invest where you work. So that is usually a good sign too that they're willing to take the risk because they think that there's that much upside. Now the confusing part comes in when the day after this happens, we see these tanker rates come out, which I'm sure he knew about beforehand, and we see the stock price go down significantly. So it's been a roller coaster over the last couple weeks. As you can see here, it was down to about 438, went back up to 538, and then it has just steadily decreased from here. Now, I told you guys in the last video about NAT, which I'll link here, that I would buy more if it hit a certain price, and I did that. So as you can see here, I actually bought Nordic American Tanker and DHT. So I know I don't have many shares here. I bought 7 shares of NAT, 5 shares of DHT, but I have shares in my other accounts. This is just in one of my accounts. This is what I bought in. And I'm comfortable with how much I own because I really believe in keeping about 90-95% of my money in really long-term holdings that I can sleep easy at night. I don't have to worry about the price because I know that over time Facebook's going to go up, index funds are going to go up, Berkshire Hathaway is going to go up, etc. And these are more speculative plays, but I feel good about them, so I put some money in them. Now, that being said, I'm going to be more cautious going forward about adding a bigger position just because I think it still has potential. That's why I'm not selling out. But I also realize that in these times and with these stocks, it's hard to tell exactly where it's going to go. And we're in a time where a lot of stocks are getting cheaper, and I think that there are going to be good values out there. Now, if you're getting really concerned about these tanker rates, you can look over here, and they do this every month. But they update this little chart every month, and we're getting close to the numbers that we had last year. So around last year, the index was right around about 15 or so, $15,000 a day, $16,000 a day. So it's not like we're in a worse position than we were last year, and this is cyclical. So at this point in the year, it usually does worse, and then it goes up around winter. And we're also just having really low supply. So that might be another reason that we are seeing this dip right now, is that there is a lower supply because of OPEC deciding to cut down on their oil production. And also the demand is lower too, because we still aren't up and running fully like we were before. A lot of companies are using less gas. A lot of consumers are using a lot less gas and oil. So that's something that we can see there. Now, I want to talk on the fact too about the other stock that I bought this week. But first, I want to talk about just the general market. So we're down significantly today, almost 2.5% to 3%. And this is mostly through two different reasons. One, the Fed did stress tests on some different banks, and if you are invested in the banking sector, it's been very bad for you, because the banks basically were told that they weren't allowed to increase share buybacks, which is one of the ways that companies in general get to reward their shareholders, and they aren't able to increase dividends for a little while either. So the Federal Reserve basically said, you guys aren't in a good enough position, it's too unstable, we are imposing some restrictions on the companies. So that is something that brought the stocks down a lot in the banking sector today. A lot of the stocks were down between about 5 and 10%. Also, we've seen increases in the number of cases recently. So this is something that has caused a lot of concern, and some states are even imposing more restrictions. So for example, Texas decided to shut down their bars. They're imposing more restrictions on restaurants. They're also shutting down some kinds of outdoor water sports that are pretty big in Texas. So this was really the first state that we saw that started to impose more restrictions again, which is causing a lot of people to get anxious about it. I did want to say too, before I get to kind of my investment horizon and what I want to do going forward, so what are my plans with all this happening, I did want to say too, I bought Facebook stock. I bought just $50 today, but as you can see here, they tipped significantly. So this is one of my favorite stocks, and they're going through something right now. They dropped 8.5%. They're going through something right now that I think won't last. So they got news, or they were told by several different companies recently, that because of their inability or their unwillingness to restrict certain ad campaigns and hate speech on their platform, that those companies would not run ads on their platform. So of course you don't want hate speech. Of course you want to be able to censor people that are out of line. But I'm not even going to go into whether Facebook should do this or they shouldn't. But Facebook is one of the best platforms, and Instagram is one of the best platforms to advertise on for companies. So I think that Facebook will fix this, or be able to come up with some solution that will bring them back to exactly where they were. Nothing has fundamentally changed. This is just something where people are worried because certain companies aren't going to advertise with them. And I think that Facebook will do just fine in the long term. It's not going to really matter 5 years out what's happening right now. So I picked up some more shares for right around $220 a share. Honestly, I'd buy more, but with everything that's happening in the market right now, I'm really just trickling my money in. So this is what I'm planning to do in the future. I want to keep my spec stocks, or my more speculative plays, to about 10%, 5 to 10%. So those are the cruise lines, those are the airlines, those are these different tanker stocks, all that. But I want to keep about 90% into the Facebooks of the world, the Berkshires, the Teslas, index funds, and I'm going to trickle in. So as you can see here, we're down to about 3,000 in the S&P, and we've gotten other news that hedge funds are going to try to sell off some of their shares. They're going to cause big dips in the market. I am usually a buyer, so I rarely sell anything unless I really think that I should. I'm not someone that's going to try to time selling out so that way when the hedge funds sell all their stocks, I can buy back in. I just don't think that's worth it. I think that the market usually heads up over time. And if that was such a great idea, people have been doing that for years. Whenever we increase dramatically, people would rebalance, and that would just be something that we do. So I don't think that's necessarily the best plan. I plan on slowly trickling more money in just like last time when we had this in the first place and there was a huge dip. A lot of people were too scared to put money in the first place. Some people put all their money in right away. I'm going to trickle $50 here, $100 there, $200 there, and I think there are good buys out there. So Facebook stock, I think that that's going to get really attractive. Berkshire stock, I think, is real attractive right now still. I see SPG becoming more and more attractive. So this is a little bit more of a speculative stock, but it's $61 right now. It was a $150 stock 6 months ago. I think that's going to do fine in the long term. It's just that right now they have a little bit of worry because of the economy shutting back down. There could be some kind of risk of going bankrupt and stuff like that. But I think that I'll continue to trickle money in here. I think that this is going to be a good stock to buy. But if we shut down a second time, it's gonna be riskier. So the first time, of course, we've never had this and we don't know what's gonna happen. The next time though, I don't think the Fed and the government's gonna come in and swoop in and give as much stimulus. I think it'd be really hard to put another $5 to $10 trillion on their balance sheet. So I think that the stakes are gonna be higher next time. It's gonna be more important to be smart about what you invest in. But just make sure that you're making wise decisions. Don't put all your money in one stock. I hope you guys appreciated this. I know there was kind of a mashup video because on one hand I really want to talk about NAT, but on the other there's just so much happening in the market and I can't do all the videos I want to do, how I want to do them, because there's just so much material to cover right now, so much that I want to talk about, and I only have so much time. So if you guys like this, please give a thumbs up and tell me what you guys are thinking below. Are you investing? Are you selling? Are you getting ready to invest? So I appreciate it, guys. Let me know what you think below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.